Hello friends, and welcome to episode 7 of our Unsolved National Park Disappearances series, where we present 10 more cases for you to ponder. Now in the United States National Park system alone, there are more than 84 million acres of preserved woods, deserts, mountains, and other wilderness. So it should come as no surprise that in the past 100 years, there have been a number of cases of reported missing persons. But what's most disturbing is, these cases are increasing at an alarming rate, and the circumstances behind these disappearances is sometimes beyond the bizarre. Please note that some of the cases have very limited information, but we'll do our best to keep you updated of any new developments in future episodes. With that said, sit back and let's begin. No. 10. Brendan Napon. 37-year-old Brendan Napon was last seen on September 27, 2020, near the Snow Lake Trailhead at Snoqualmie Pass in the Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest, located in Washington State. Brandon and his dog, a mixed breed named Setha, are said to have hiked in the area every single week, and it's believed that they were headed to Jim Lake. The entire trip to Jim Lake is 11 miles and is rated difficult, with a 2,670-foot elevation gain. On September 28, 2020, Brendan's mother reported him missing when he didn't return as expected. A search and rescue effort by the King County Sheriff's Department and King County rescue teams was immediately started. In addition, 366 search and rescue volunteers joined the search, looking for any sign of Brendan or his dog. Brendan is a 37-year-old white male with brown hair and brown eyes. His height is approximately 5 foot 9 inches tall, and he weighs around 170 pounds. Unfortunately, on October 5, 2020, King County rescue teams suspended their search. After 2,000 hours of searching, the search involved ground teams, helicopters, drones, and police dogs, but no trace of Brendan or his dog was ever found, and they both remain missing. No. 9. Alexander Pish. 35-year-old Alexander Pish of Discovery Bay, California, vanished on October 8, 2020. After setting up an easel for a painting along Diablo Lake in the North Cascades National Park, located in Washington State, Alex was last seen by park visitors near the Colonial Creek campground on the shores of the lake. Alex's white Toyota Corolla was parked along Highway 20, where he had set up an easel for painting. On October 10, 2020, a National Park Service employee noticed that the car and the easel were still there, in the same location, with no indication that Alex was in the area. Upon investigation of the surrounding area, the easel and canvas Alex had been using was still standing. The canvas on the easel had a half-painted image of the surrounding landscape. Alex is described as a 35-year-old white male with brown hair, but at the time of his disappearance, he had a shaved head. His height is approximately 6 feet 1 inches tall, and he weighs around 160 pounds. Park rangers began searching for Alex on October 10, 2020. Field searches worked the area near Colonial Creek Campground and Diablo Lake. Approximately 20 people were in the field looking for Alex. Search efforts continued through October 14, 2020, but no sign of Alex ever surfaced. As of the making of this video, search efforts are now minimal. No. 8. Michael Bryson. 27-year-old Michael Bryson of Eugene, Oregon was last seen by his parents on Monday, August 3, 2020. Michael had stopped by at their house in Harrisburg, Oregon. He told them he was riding up with a friend to a week-long birthday party/camping trip at Hobo Camp, campground in the Umpqua National Forest in Oregon. We know he was up there Monday and Tuesday, and that the DJ at this party, that was actually a rave, invited him up on stage to do a set, but by the next morning he was gone, said Parrish Bryson, according to Detective Richard Smith with the Lane County Sheriff's Office. It was 4 a.m. on August 5, 2020, when Michael reportedly wandered away from a group of friends at the campground in an unknown direction. He added that Michael had left his camping gear behind. His phone was powered off, and he hasn't accessed his bank account since. Michael's parents weren't alerted to their son's disappearance until the next day at 5 p.m. They immediately drove to the area where Lancaster Sheriff's Search and Rescue had already deployed search teams to search by land and water. For days, hundreds of volunteers showed up to scour miles of heavily wooded wilderness. In the area they searched on foot, on horseback and with drones, but there was no trace of Michael. We stayed at the campgrounds for 19 days, looking for our son, and were truly grateful for those who stayed and helped, said Parrish Bryson. Michael's parents both described their son the same way. He has a big heart and it's always for other people. Michael had previously traveled twice to Africa on mission trips and came back with an urge to move there and continue to help others. To remember his time there, he got a tattoo of shaking hands with the words, "Stay strong, my brother," said Parrish. Michael's family and friends turned to social media to help spread the word of his disappearance with the hashtags Bring Michael Bryson Home, Let's Find Michael Bryson, and We Are Coming For You. Michael, a Facebook group called Let's Find Michael Bryson, already has more than 12,000 members who include family, friends, the community, and people from around the world. Michael's described as a 27-year-old white male with brown hair and hazel eyes. His height is approximately 6 feet even, and he weighs around 180 pounds. The search for Michael is still ongoing. Anyone who may have information about Michael's whereabouts is asked to contact the Lane County Sheriff's Office at 541-682-4150. There's a $10,000 reward offered for information that leads to Michael. No. 7. Dr. Margaret Baker. 60-year-old Dr. Margaret Baker of Port Angeles, Washington, was reported missing on April 24, 2020. Margaret was reported missing by a family member after being unable to contact her. Margaret's vehicle, a black BMW X5 SUV, was located in a pole out on East Beach Road. Park rangers were notified the vehicle was located and a hasty search began at Lake Crescent. On April 25, 2020 at 6:45 p.m., park rangers found her submerged red kayak on a rocky shoreline along U.S. Highway 101, about a mile east of Barnes Point, in the Olympic National Park in Washington. On April 26, 2020, multiple searches were conducted by park rangers with the assistance of the Clallam County Sheriff's Office and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Park rangers were also assisted by a search and rescue team and search dogs from Kitsap County, as well as the German Shepherd search dogs of Washington State. Park rangers continue to search at Lake Crescent today and to organize additional dive team resources. Park rangers are also conducting this investigation in coordination with the Clallam County Sheriff's Office, Port Angeles Police Department, and the Investigative Services Branch, or ISB, of the National Park Service. Margaret is described as a 60-year-old white female with brown and gray hair. Her height is approximately 6 inches tall and she weighs around 180 pounds. The search for Margaret has been suspended. Anyone who may have information about Margaret's whereabouts is asked to contact the National Park Service Investigative Service Branch at 886-53009. No. 6. Dr. Sam DeBall. 34-year-old Dr. Sam DeBall was reported missing on October 12, 2020 after he didn't come home from an overnight hiking trip to Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State. Sam was last known to be hiking the Mother Mountain Loop out of the Mojave Trailhead. During this time, several winter storms blanketed much of the area, and temperatures were in the high 20s to low 30s. Sam is a professor at the University of Washington's Anthropology Department. His sister said that Sam is a humble guy, a lover of nature, and someone who seeks to find the humanity in everyone. He is very fit and is considered a skilled hiker, with tremendous experience. For the first 9 days, a group including park rangers, volunteer hikers, and helicopter crews from the National Park Service and U.S. Air Force searched for Sam on the ground and by air. But poor weather conditions on October 14th and 15th, 2020 limited the abilities of rescuers to continue searching on the ground. Sam's family started petition on October 22, 2020, pleading that rescue teams continue searching for him aggressively for at least 72 more hours. 3 days later, the National Park Service announced that teams had resumed the search for Sam, with ground crews, K9 teams, flare technology drones, and helicopters. Mount Rainier National Park has seen a record number of searches this year, with more than 60 so far. Several hikers remain missing, and one mountaineer was located but could not be recovered due to hazardous icefall conditions. Sam is described as a 34-year-old male with black hair, a short black beard, and brown eyes. His height is approximately 5 foot 9 inches tall, and he weighs around 155 pounds. As weather permits, ground crews, canine teams, drones, and helicopters have been out searching for Sam. The National Park Service asks that anyone who may have information that would be helpful to investigators, please contact the National Park Service Investigative Service Branch at 888-530-009. No. 5 Sandra Johnson Hughes. -1 for year-old Sandra Johnson Hughes of California was last heard from on June 26, 2020. Sandra had embarked on a solo camping trip in the Sierra, south of Yosemite, to escape from the current pandemic. Sandra had recently moved from Maui, Hawaii to California in June of 2020. She had trained to be a park ranger in college and was experienced in the outdoors. On July 5, 2020, the Madera County Sheriff's Office asked for the public's help in locating Sandra after they found her campsite in disarray, near the Johnson's Meadow section of the forest. On the same day, authorities located her silver sub in Chico Creek, to the north of the campsite. They said it appeared to have crashed into a tree at a speed of less than 20 miles per hour before rolling into the ravine. Hikers reported seeing Sandra on July 4, 2020, said she was barefoot and had a bruise on her face. They offered to help her, but she declined medical assistance. Officers and volunteers from more than half dozen other sheriff's departments, together with dog teams, the California Highway Patrol, and the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, combed the forest and, with helicopters from the California Air National Guard, did an aerial search. The search focused around the area where Sandra was last seen, but there was no sign of her. Then on August 9, 2022, hunters spotted a woman leaning against a tree along Road 5S01 near Bussart Road. She did not wave them down, attempt contact, or appear to be in distress. Upon returning, they recognized her from a missing persons flight and contacted park rangers. The hunters said that she appeared to be visibly thinner than her last known photograph. Sandra is a 54-year-old white female with blue, shoulder-length hair. Her natural hair color is brown. She also has brown eyes, and her height is estimated at approximately 5'3" inches tall, and she weighs around 150 pounds. The search for Sandra is ongoing but is limited. Authorities ask anyone who may have information about Sandra's whereabouts, please contact the NPS Investigative Service Branch at 88-8653-000-9. No. For Carlos Alexander Baltazar. 35-year-old Carlos Alexander Baltazar's vehicle was located by the California Highway Patrol on September 20, 2020. Carlos' vehicles on Highway 18 and Delta Avenue in remote area Big Bear Lake, part of the San Bernardino National Forest. His backpack was found about 75 yards away from where his car was parked. Carlos is a firefighter, and according to his family, he left their home in San Bernardino and was on his way to work the day he disappeared. They reported him missing 4 days later, on September 24, 2020. Information regarding this case is unfortunately very limited, and what is available regarding Carlos' disappearance is nearly the same info in every article. However, we did find one article that mentioned, on September 20, 2020, Carlos may have been picked up near his vehicle, near Highway 18 in Delta Way, northeast of Big Bear Lake, by someone driving a Subaru. With that said, there's no additional information regarding this investigation, and Carlos remains missing. Carlos is described as a 35-year-old Hispanic male with a bald head and brown eyes. His height is approximately 5 feet 9 inches, and he weighs around 175 pounds. Deputies are asking anyone who was in the area of Highway 18 Delta Way on September 20th to contact the Big Bear Sheriff Station at 90-986-60100 or the Sheriff's Dispatch at 90-986-67581. No. 3 Shelby Campbell on September 8, 2020. 29-year-old Shelby Campbell left for a hike on the North Ogden Divide Trail in the Unita Wasatch Cache National Forest in Utah and never returned. Family members called police that evening when she didn't return, sending whatever county search and rescue teams out into until the area 4 a.m. the following morning. Shelby's vehicle, a tan-colored 2009 Nissan Maxima, was later discovered at the South Skyline Trailhead on North Ogden Canyon Road. The Weber County Sheriff's Department and Weber County Search and Rescue have searched for Shelby but scaled back their efforts. On September 11, 2020, the Facebook page Help Bring Shelby Home was created and has since amassed more than 5,700 members. According to this Facebook page, evidence Shelby left behind gave the family reason to believe she made plans to go up there but potentially did not have plans to return. Since Shelby's disappearance, hundreds of hikers have volunteered time to search for her in the terrain surrounding the parking lot where her car was found, but no sign of Shelby has been located. Shelby's described as a 29-year-old white female with long brown hair. She has green eyes, and her height is approximately 7 inches tall. She weighs around 145 pounds. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Weber County Sheriff's Office at 801-629-8221. No to Barry J. Tragan. On July 25, 2020, rangers in Montana began to search in Glacier National Park for 68-year-old Columbia Falls resident Barry Tragan after he didn't return to his vehicle, which was near Kintla Lake, in the North Fork area of the park. Barry's vehicle had reportedly been in that location since July 22, 2020. The Flathead County Sheriff's Office, Flathead County Search and Rescue to Bear Air, National Park Service Investigative Services, and the FBI have assisted Glacier National Park with search efforts. The search included ground and canine search teams, aerial observation using planes and drones, and water observations using a boat and remotely operated underwater vehicle. Beginning on July 27, 2020, the search effort was transitioned to a limited search. Then on August 4th, search crews found a pair of sunglasses believed to belong to Barry in Kent Lake Creek. Canine search units later showed interest in the outlet of Kent Lake, prompting further search of the area, but no other signs were found. Barry is described as a 68-year-old white male with gray hair and a gray mustache, and has hazel eyes. His height is approximately 5 feet, 10 inches tall, and he weighs approximately 220 pounds. The search for Barry is now limited. Anyone who may have information about Barry's whereabouts is asked to please contact the NPS Investigative Service Branch at 8886-530-009. No. 1 Laura Vogel. Now, while the disappearance of Laura Vogel was not in a national park, per se we felt it should be included in this episode, due to the fact that in the last 10 years, so many people have gone missing without a trace. In Hawaii, here's Laura's story. 43-year-old Laura Vogel of Hawaii was last heard from on February 21, 2010, while hiking by Puela Point in Haiku, Hawaii. That night she sent a text message to a friend, saying she planned to camp out and was meeting all the locals. Laura was a self-employed tutor and had a tutoring session at 9 a.m. on February 22, 2010, but she never arrived. That's when her friends reported her missing to the police, but were told they would have to wait 24 hours to begin the search. Laura's friends, who knew the area where she had been camping, decided to form their own search. On February 23, 2010, Laura's van was found abandoned in a grassy area. Off the main road, the passenger side door was open, and her keys were in the ignition. Laura's wallet and cell phone were not in the car. While searching in the area where van was located, her friends found the back cover of Laura's cell phone. That was enough evidence to finally get the police to investigate. According to investigators, the van was parked near a transient camp where a group of homeless people lived out of their cars. Police say they have spoken to everyone living in and around that area and have come up with nothing. Police also searched for days through heavy vegetation and steep cliffs and found no evidence of foul play or an accident. However, her friends see this differently and feel something happened to her. Laura was 43 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's described as a white female with long blonde hair. She has blue eyes and is approximately 8 inches tall and weighs around 140 pounds. The investigation into Laura's whereabouts is still active. If you have any information, please call the Maui Police Department at 80-82-446-425 and refer to case no. 1-0-14126. Well, friends, there you have it. There are 10 more unsolved national park disappearances. We'll keep you updated as new information on these cases is made available. Please check out the case updates video that is linked in the description box of this video. It has updates on 3 cases we have covered in previous episodes. If you have a case you would like to see featured, please email us at nationalparkmysteriesEat@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to like and share this video. There might be someone out there that holds the key to solving one or more of these cases. Finally, I would like to remind everyone to please be respectful when leaving comments below. There are still family members out there searching for answers that have come across these videos, so please treat these cases and your responses as if you were discussing someone who is close to you. So until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Steve Stockton and I'll talk to you next time.